Welcome back to Talking Footy. It's been one of the great stories in AFL football in a long, long time, the resurgence of the Port Adelaide Football Club, and the man at the centre of it has done a remarkable job. He's the coach of Port Adelaide and he's on the line from Adelaide right now, Ken Hinkley. Kenny, congratulations again, and we appreciate you joining us tonight.
Not a problem.
Hey Ken, it was a great game of football yesterday. Maybe you won't think it was a great game of football, but it was a great game of football to watch. I'm interested in how you scored your team in terms of their performance out of 10 yesterday against Adelaide.
Oh, look, Tim, I think they were pretty good. I mean, Adelaide were really strong in the last quarter and a bit, I suppose, and really got on top. But, you know, in the first half of the game, I think we were going pretty well with what we wanted to do. We unfortunately let them have a little bit too many entries in the game that we would have liked, but defensively we're a little bit down, I think. But overall, I think Adelaide really took the initiative away from us late in that second half.
Yeah, it was that third quarter, Ken. What were some of the key things that you thought Adelaide got on top?
Oh, I think they denied us a fair bit of the ball. They dominated possession, and with that, they also were able to tackle us, which is, you know, you don't normally get the two of them go hand in hand when you've got a lot of the footy. It should be the other way around. So I think their pressure and their hunt after us really counted on them.
Hey, Kenny, you've had an unbelievable start to the year, right at the top of the ladder from round one up until now. Do you monitor your training loads? Are you going to load up for a while, you know, anticipating going deep into finals, or do you back off at this stage? Where are you at in terms of training?
No, we keep it pretty consistent with what the weeks provide us, to be honest. You know, we've got a 6-day break this week, so we'll obviously do a little bit less. And, you know, any chance we get with an 8-day break, we do load up a little bit, but we don't change and we don't go into blocks of periods of time where we might train a bit heavier. We just try to manage the season with what's provided to us.
Carlisle and Trengove, have you ruled them out for this week?
Yeah, they won't play this week. They probably won't play for 2 or 3 weeks, to be honest. And you know, that's going to leave a significant hole for us. But it's one that we think we've got some ready personnel ready to come in and play the game. And you know, hopefully they can come in and do a good job.
Those players that you think will fill those positions, will you talk to them early in the week and give them the heads up as to what you expect from them at this early stage in the week and how long you might play them for?
Oh, not so much, Tim. I think that the key thing is that they probably know who they are. They've been in pretty good form. You know, we're talking about blokes like Cleary and O'Shea in our with the Magpies who have been in really strong form. They've been strong all year and have probably just been waiting for an opportunity. And that opportunity now presents itself with a couple of injuries to their teammates. So I'm sure they'll know they've got an opportunity. They'll come in and, you know, hopefully they'll get 2 or 3 weeks where they play really solid football. And the key ingredient for them is that after that 2 or 3 weeks that they demand to stay in the side.
Can you just re-sign Darren Burgess? What's his philosophy on training? Is it about repetition?
Yeah, it's a fair bit to do with, you know, being able to do a little bit more than normal and, you know, making sure that we work really hard. But we're really diligent with the way he prepares the boys. It's not just go out there and flog them and train them into the ground. There's a lot of method that goes into what Burjo's doing. There's a lot of calculated gambles at times or risks at times with what we can and can't do. And, you know, since he's come back from the EPL, he's certainly been strong on the fact that we can train a little bit more than has been the normal in the AFL. And we've certainly taken that benefit and you've been able to put that into games.
Hey, Kenny, Brad Scott had a press conference today. He had a few words with Tom Rockcliffe with a bit of an after the siren incident. You might want to comment on the specifics. Do you think coaches have got a right to approach opposition players after the game if they see something they want to have a chat about?
Look, again, you know, not knowing exactly what went on, what didn't go on, or what happened, you know, I probably haven't got too much to say about other than I think, you know, normally I think that the right thing is perhaps we stay away from that area of the ground and, you know, we coach our boys.
Kenny, you just don't know what restrictions to put on a player or you don't know what the ceiling of a player might be. Jarman Impey, I've been fascinated by the way you've used him this year, and has he exceeded all your expectations?
Yeah, I think so, Tim. I think he's certainly done better than we thought he may. We did draft him to come in and play in the position that we're playing him in, obviously, and, you know, he's played really well in that position most of the year. Look, even on the weekend, Eddie Betts has kicked 4, but Jarman Impey was only on him for 1 of those goals. So we think he's done a really strong job on Eddie, who we rate enormously highly, and, you know, he couldn't have done much more on him. But, you know, it's a steep learning curve when the players he gets to play on have been Ballantyne and Betts, those types of players. We know that's going to hold him in good stead for the future, and it's exciting for us.
Kenny, you've got Monfries, Wingard, Gray. You've got another Gray on that forward line now. That mix of goal kickers is obviously a really important ingredient in being successful at AFL level.
Yeah, it is, no doubt about it. You've got to have you've got to have the ability to mix it up, and if 1 week someone's down, someone else is up, hopefully. And, you know, Schultze leads them pretty well at the front, and, you know, with Big Hoff as well. So those 3 or 4 small blokes, 5 or 6 probably when you think about the, you know, White's played a fair bit there too. Travis can go through there, Ebert can go through there. We certainly, we think it's one of our keys that we can mix it up a fair bit and give the oppo a different look, albeit they're all smaller size players, but that's what we've got and that's what we play with.
Kenny, a couple of years ago, not many people wanted to talk about Port Adelaide. There wasn't a great future in the eyes of a lot of people involved in football. Now, everyone watches Port Adelaide and thinks you're a chance to go all the way. Do you feel a bit more pressure as the senior coach? You've had a great time in the game, but you're starting to feel that expectation?
Look, I probably should be. Yeah, I probably should say it. There's a little bit more now. I think there's a little bit more going on that, you know, we've certainly approached a position now where people give us a little bit more respect, a lot more respect, I suppose, in the competition. You know, and that's a result of the boys' hard work. And I suppose with some of that comes a bit more pressure that you want to perform. Look, we probably put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and I put a lot of pressure on the team, that every week we play to our absolute best. You know, and even though we've lost the 3 games now, we've been in every game, and I think that's a credit to the boys, and that just shows that we'll give ourselves a chance in every contest. And if you do that, I suppose you're a real-life chance in any game you play.
A lot of people criticising the game from week to week about the ugly side of the game. No one could be critical of the way that Port Adelaide play their football. Have you ever been conscious of that since you started coaching, about playing a brand of football that actually people like to watch?
Yeah, I think so, Tim. I think it's worthwhile thinking about what your supporters pay up for, and and what they want to get and how they want to see their team play. I think certainly Port Adelaide people want to see their team first and foremost compete and play a contested brand of football. But when we get our chance with the ball, that we're brave enough to take the game on, and we certainly think that we provide that. But it's all off the back of the defensive stuff that we're doing. It's credit to the boys when we do get the ball in offence that they are able to go. But the important part for us is where we get the ball off the opposition to allow us to play that with a bit more freedom. So I think it's important that you want to see an exciting brand of football, but not at the expense of winning and losing, obviously. But I think you can do a bit of both.
Kenny, who's been better for Port Adelaide, Matt White or the Adelaide Oval?
Look, Adelaide Oval's been enormous. Look, there's no doubt about it. There's 1 million people went through the ground for this year on Sunday, so it's an amazing number. And we'll fill the ground again this Saturday night against the Bombers. There'll be another massive turnout. It's been really important for the city and for the state and for both sides over here. And certainly Matty White, to touch on him, he's been a real good pickup for us, along with Jared Pilot. We've been really pleased with what he's offered the side.
Kenny, we love watching your side play. We love coming to Adelaide Oval. It's, as I said off the top, one of the great football stories, and you're right in the middle of it. And once again, thanks for your time tonight.
Good on you, boys. Thank you.
Ken Hinkley doing an unbelievable job as coach at Port Adelaide. Looks absolutely at home, doesn't he, in the role? And you can't say any more about what he's doing. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Look, they're great for football. I mean, not only have they been able to rebuild themselves off the field, but in terms of a side that you want to watch play, they're a great fillip for the game right now.
And it's great to hear him say. I loved your question. I do take some thought about the way the game's played and what our supporters like, and he delivers that in spades. And Showdown 37 it was, and it was one of the great games. They're always brilliant. You've been involved in them before, and we heard Ken Hinkley mention Eddie Betts, who was probably the star and maybe the difference in the end-up.
Yeah, he was. He kicked a couple of goals in that last quarter. He's been look, we know that he's been an exciting player for a long time, but what he does off the ground, he's become a very, very reliant kick. I'm not sure he was ever this reliant, but he's made this pocket in particular his own at Adelaide Oval, hasn't he?
You know what, if you look at the champion data from sort of the last 4 years, they had him listed as the most influential small player in the game because of what he's done. And you really actually had to uncover some of the stats to work out exactly what it was about Eddie Betts that made him such a special player. But not only does he kick goals, he actually makes goals. And even though he might have just found it taken a little while to find his feet over there in Adelaide, he's become a genuine star over there, and the fans are just absolutely flocking and loving, actually flocking around him now and loving the way that he's going about it.
He's actually getting the crowd involved, isn't he? In that little pocket, he's running over, giving cuddles, giving little bombs out. He did everything. He did everything yesterday.
Is that a massive mistake? I want to talk about Adelaide and how good they were. Sam Jacobs won the medal, but for Carlton, we understand it was just purely a salary thing, and maybe if they found an extra $50,000 or $100,000, he's still paying for Carlton. In the context of where Carlton are at, that's a massive loss, isn't it?
It has been. It's been a greater loss than I thought it would be for Carlton, but I think there was also the fact that he wanted to get home to his family, his father over there in Adelaide as well. So I think there was more than just money at stake.
Yeah. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, Das.
It's always